Hey all, and welcome back to another video. Today in this topic I am going to be talking about the Horrid locomotives and rolling stock of Bradford Exchange. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video you should know who they are. They take models from I guess a couple different manufacturers, and then they paint them up into this sort of I'd say special occasionally type thing. I don't really know what you call it. I have two of them right here, and that's pretty much it. Kind of don't want any more after this, but you'll never know. I might get some more, who knows. But I'm not a big fan of Bradford Exchange at all, and I don't really bring these two out very often, but one of them I enjoy more than the other. But Bradford Exchange is absolutely horrible. I don't really recommend them, and yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Bradford Exchange, or Hawthorne Village, has been around for quite a while. I actually don't know how long they've been around for, but I do know they've been around for quite a long time, and they've been producing these models for quite a long time. Although I think Bachmann and Lifelike are the manufacturers that I guess they're either sponsored, well, not sponsored, I would say they're working with, if that's even the right word to say. I'm pretty sure you guys will let me know what the real correct word is, but I'll say it's working with Bachmann and Lifelike for right now. So yeah, these two, they're not the best in the world, but they are something. They do provide at least somewhat of entertainment. But yeah, it's they're nothing really special, although all I can say is Hawthorne Village is, like I keep saying, they are absolute garbage. I can't even express that enough. So I am going to be starting off with the Palmaya set, because that is the first one I got. Then I will move on to the Spirit of the West set that I got earlier this year, sorry. But yeah, let's start with the Palmaya set for right now. The Palmaya set, in my opinion, is probably the most interesting one that I have. I would say it's the coolest train set that I have. Well, I wouldn't say train set, would I? I got this set back in 2020, so that was like 3 years ago. I think it was October of 2020. And I think I paid around, I forgot now, I think $120 to $160 for this whole set. It comes with 2 A units, 2 B units, a boxcar, and 4 large dome cars. I think they're all by I think all of these are by Bachmann. If I could, yeah, they're all by Bachmann. I bought these all together. Get this back on properly. Yeah, like I said, I bought these all together, and I had pretty good fun with it. Except the only problem is, well, the 2 units are absolutely fine. This one is more quieter than the last one that I have back here that's off camera, although that one is exceptionally loud, and I do apologize if you heard it from the camera's microphone. And when I run this thing, it picks up almost an amp of power, because the 4 cars have these incandescent bulbs in them. Excuse the close-up that I have of this coach, but here's one of them, and if I turn it up full power, it's not drawing an amp right now because I don't have the locomotives on, but I think you can see the lights in there. I'm not sure how well you can see that actually. If I come up this way, there you go, I think you can just about see it. Yeah, you can just see, like, down here that one of the coaches is lit up. Take the camera off the tripod, my phone rather, because I don't feel like getting on my other camera. Ignoring the signal that's lighting up everything, you can see that these cars do actually have lights, which is an amazing feature. I do love that feature a lot, but these bulbs are not bright enough, and if I were you, I would replace these with LEDs, because LEDs draw less current, from what I heard, and these bulbs draw in a whole lot more current. And I think there's like 3 of them in total on each coach, if not 2. It looks like there's only 2, but I could be wrong. So yeah, those are the coaches lit. I hope you got somewhat joy out of that. And the best part about this set, and you'll soon see why in a minute, is that it's all HO scale. And I know you're probably going to be like, well, okay, what difference does that make? Well, like I said, I will show you in a minute. But yeah, this is, like I said, the most interesting train set that I have. I know I shouldn't say set, but it's more, I think it's more of a collector's thing I should call it, but I'm gonna call it a train set anyway. It's pretty interesting. It's still nice, you know, it's still nice to get out every once in a while, but the quality of it is still okay, you know. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's still something. I mean, I do enjoy this thing quite a bit, and I would give it a good thumbs up. And with the Spirit of 76 thing, yeah, we're gonna be looking at that next, and that one is not as good. What you are seeing on screen now is the Spirit of the West locomotive, and I don't know if you saw this thing was struggling to get here. I don't know if its wheels are dirty or what, but oh well. But this thing, I thought it was attractive at first, but I don't think it looks that attractive now when I see it. I got this thing back in, I think, January of this year, and we're just halfway through 2023, and well, the story goes, I got an advertisement of this in the mail. It was a little postcard thing that I could send out to Bradford Exchange themselves, and I can get this. And it was the biggest mistake of my life, let me tell you that. But the only horror part about this thing is, remember when I said the PAL Maya is HO scale? They also advertise this as HO scale, literally. But from the looks of it, and if you can tell by the size of my hand, if that even counts, it's not HO scale, it's ON30. And to be honest, I don't really like ON30 at all. I'm not a big fan of ON30 stuff. I don't really plan to collect any ON30 stuff. And for those who don't know, ON30 is pretty much a narrow gauge of O scale, if you can compare to that. But yeah, but you're probably now asking, why do I have this if I don't collect ON30 stuff? Well, like I said, they advertise this as HO scale. Bear that in mind. And I actually didn't know it was HO scale, or it was ON30 scale, sorry, until someone pointed it out when I made a video about this. And comparing the size of this thing and my other engines, yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. It looks too big to be HO scale. But the only thing that is HO scale that comes with this is, wait for it, is this car. I think that's the only HO scale item in this lot. Apart from this is just a piece of crap statue. But yeah, and as you can also see, what I don't like about it, and I'm pretty sure everybody else hates this as well, the pistons is not connected to the main driving rods. Why did they do that? Your guess is as good as mine. I just don't know. And looking at it up close, it just looks horrible in general. They even advertise this as handcrafted. It's not handcrafted. You can see the coin at the front is just plastic or some sort of cheap resin, but I'm gonna call it plastic anyway. I think the lamp has a bulb in it, but yeah, it just looks horrible. The handrails are molded, and the buffaloes on the side, I think they're just stickers or some sort of transfers. You can kind of tell they're like stickers or whatever, because well, not stickers, more like transfers, because you can see the outlines where they even put on. And the tender is, yeah, it's just a plastic little thing right here. The combine car is pretty bad too. They used the smaller size of the coin right here, and they blocked out the windows and stuff like that. Not to mention, they've been doing this recently. I don't know if you guys can see it. They use plastic wheels on all of them except for the main driving rods of the locomotive, but plastic wheels on the tender. Obviously the main driving wheels have to be metal to pick up power, and even the front truck has plastic wheels. So yeah, what were they thinking? I have no idea, but at least the Palmaya is a bit better than this. And by the way, I don't remember if I mentioned the Palmaya I got off eBay. This one I didn't get off eBay. I got it from Bradford Exchange themselves. Like I said, I filled out some sort of postcard that I could send off to have this thing, and I got the locomotive within, I think, a couple months. So it was a locomotive first, then the tender, then the combine car, then the flat car with the horrible cheap statue on it. Yeah, like I said, it was the biggest mistake in my life. I think the entire set in general, I would say this one was $112.30 in US dollars. The same with the tender. That's also $112 US dollars with track, power supply, that sort of stuff. The combine car was the same price, but with 2 sets of straight track. I think the combine car came by itself. I don't remember. The flat car with the horrible statue on it, also the same price. So Bradford Exchange overcharges for everything that you see here. I thought it was for the whole set in general, but no, it's all separate payments. And you're paying the locomotive that price, the tender for that price, the combine car for that price, the flatbed car for that price. And it just drains your account completely. And when I first got this, it was pretty much hard to save money because they kept putting money out of my account every 2 weeks. Literally every 2 weeks. It got so bad and I couldn't afford stuff. I had to call Bradford Exchange themselves and cancel my subscription for this thing. But even though it did work in the end, but on the other hand, their customer service is god awful. If I had the recording, I would definitely show you, but I called the corporate office, if you can even call it that, but I'm gonna call it corporate office for now. I called them and there was an old lady on the phone, and I said, "Hey, may I cancel the subscription?" And she said, "Oh, okay, yeah, you can cancel the subscription, but would you mind telling me why you got the set in the first place?" Let that sink in for a minute. She asked me, why did I get it in the first place? Well, there's a reason why I got it in the first place. You don't ask me that. I got it because I thought it looked attractive. Well, in a way it still is, but in the other hand, it's not that attractive because of how poorly detailed it is, how just bad it looks in general. But there's a reason why I got this thing. You don't ask me why I got it in the first place. That is just wrong, man. That is just absolutely wrong. So yeah, I pretty much just wasted like $450 on this lot, pretty much. Not that I'm saying it looks absolutely bad. Yeah, it is still bad, but it's not entirely bad. I mean, it's still an enjoyable thing, even if I'm not a fan of ON30 stuff, and even if I'm not a fan of how poorly detailed it is. But it's still a decent runner nonetheless, even though those side rods are absolutely killing me. But yeah, so I'm gonna get to the conclusion of which one I would recommend, if I even can recommend you these sets. But if I am gonna recommend these to you, and if you want to go for them, go ahead, but get them off eBay. You're gonna get the lots a whole lot cheaper than you're gonna get from Bradford Exchange themselves. So if you're all curious, and I probably said it before, which one would I recommend if you want one of these? Well, I am going to say this again. I recommend buying these off eBay if you want one, because if you buy them from Bradford Exchange, like I just told you, they're just gonna bankrupt you pretty much. You'll get these a whole lot cheaper on eBay than you will from Bradford Exchange themselves. But as a recommendation of which one to get, they do have various different options to choose from. I went for the Palmaya because it looks good, but I would recommend the diesels. Their diesel engines, along with some of their box cars and other rolling stock that comes with the diesels, they are a lot better. I will admit that they are a whole lot better, even though one unit right here is pretty noisy and I don't know how to tone it down. But I would recommend the diesels. Don't touch the steam engines. All their steam engines are ON30, because apparently they don't know the difference between HO scale and ON30. It's it's mind-blowing if you ask me. But yeah, for scale-wise, I would recommend diesel locomotives, because they are, like I said, they're a whole lot better. Their sets are a lot better in general, is what I can say. For the Palmaya, like I said, I think I paid around $160-ish for it. I forgot how long it's been, because it's been 3 years ago. The Spirit of the West set, I pay probably around $450 in total for it, which is too much. But like I said, these were all separate. I'm pretty sure this would have been separate as well from the rest of its lot, but who knows? Anyways, you all want a running session? I'll give you a running session. Let's take these off. Hopefully that Horrid up is that ON30 thing. You know what? I'm just gonna take this car out, because this car right here, the bag just had too much weight. I'll just run the engine and combine car by itself. Let's take the Palmaya off. Oh, great. One other thing, I don't think this thing likes switches. Apparently that was switches. Dragging it back and forth. It's not doing anything. Alright, to it. Alright, there it goes. I have yet to lay some cork down for the inside line, but I will do that eventually. Let's just see if it'll do it again. No, it won't do it again. Here comes the more attractive Palmaya set. This thing is just way better in my opinion. This is a Horrid ON30 set. And here's what I mean by the Palmaya set. It's literally almost an amp of power, and that's not even 12 volts. And it's because of all these bulbs that these guys are power with. I wouldn't say power with, more like what they have. Oh, of course. And we'll turn this thing around. Yeah, when I sent this thing this way, it's just about shorted out my controller when it derailed. Oh well, I'm about to end this video soon anyway. Alright, there. Off you go. Hey, please. Well guys, I think that was just about wrap it up for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it at least. I never thought I'd make this video, but I don't know, it was something I thought I'd get off my chest, you know, because Bradford Exchange is just let's face it, they are horrible. They're really horrible. I don't know how they even got with Bachman or Lifelike and say, hey, let's make this, you know? But it's just the way it is, I suppose. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. And I will jump right in front of these trains to possibly end it all. So see you guys in the next video.